Hey everybody, and welcome to Mike Nierychlo Online, sharing my love for people, wine, food, and all things made a little bit passionately. So today hanging out, we've got Dwight Sick, winemaker, Stag's Hollow.
Welcome and thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Dwight. Thanks for hanging out in the garage with us today.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's kind of like your winery.
It is totally. Very close.
So Stag's Hollow, Okanagan Falls. Kind of one of those wineries. You've been around 15 years. You're celebrating your 15-year anniversary. One of the pioneers of the area.
Yeah, they are, really.
Absolutely. And trying to really get your face on the map out there, hey?
Well, it'd be nice to think that Okanagan Falls just isn't a speed bump on the highway anymore,
Totally.
and have people stop in. And you know, there's some quality wines that are coming out of that area, and the pedigree of the wineries that are being established in that area are top-notch.
Yeah, well, everybody knows about the Olivers, the Black Sages, the Kelowna wineries and stuff, but I mean, some of the lesser-known areas, say you guys, OK Falls, Similkameen, two areas that are just huge up-and-comers making exceptional quality wines.
Not only up-and-comers.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the wineries around that area.
Yeah.
There's, Blue Mountain just down the road.
Absolutely. Knocks
Wild Goose is our neighbors.
Yep.
There's a reason Meyer family is doing Chardonnay and Pinot Noir in that area.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the list goes on.
Awesome. Cool. So Dwight, you're, like I said, winemaker for Stag's Hollow. First question I want to ask, what got you into wine? What was your aha moment?
You know what, I didn't really have an aha moment. I was born into food and wine.
Okay.
And at an early on stage, even in my teens, I started to cook.
Okay.
So my love of wine began with food. And it's a marriage. They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And from there, I started a career in the airline industry at a very young age.
Okay.
And so got to travel extensively around the world, and that passion just grew.
Yeah, well, food and wine from around the world, I'm sure you experienced some great stuff.
Met my wife shortly afterwards, who was from the Okanagan.
Okay.
Relocated there, was commuting for 19 years, still flying internationally.
Yeah.
And an opportunity came along for me to expand my love of that by taking an early retirement package from the airline industry.
Oh, okay, okay.
And move into something that I could become very passionate and loving towards creating a career in wine.
Okay, okay. Now, as a winemaker, you studied a little bit at UC Davis in California. You've had lots of experience in the Okanagan. And some experience in California as well, you mentioned.
Yeah, I've got some very close friends in California that I still am regularly in touch with.
Just hang out with.
Yeah, it's great.
What would you say kind of if you could nutshell this, your winemaking philosophy would be? Or is there a certain type of wine you like to make, or do you like to express BC in your wine, or what's your...
Well, ultimately, as far as wines, and if we were to talk varietals, the Rhone is where my heart is.
The Rhone is where your heart is, okay.
And when I started at Stag's Hollow, that was the beginning of, I'm not going to say a transition point of wines that we're going to make at Stag's Hollow, but there was an expansion of the focus of the portfolio, which embraced some new Rhone varietals.
Oh, okay.
So that's my heart, really.
Yeah.
That truthfully is my heart in the wines I want to make and drink, and that's why that's there.
Well,
they're the wines I drink.
Yeah, when you're in an area of the Okanagan, those varietals tend to thrive well in as well.
But as far as when I actually make a wine, do I try and emulate somewhere else in the world? No. When I make a wine, it doesn't matter which it is, and when you smell it and taste it, I want you to think, this is from the Okanagan, because nowhere else does it smell and taste like that.
It tastes like this, exactly. Now, you guys are growing a few other varieties on the property as well that you don't often see as much as the Okanagan. They're getting more and more out there, like, say, Tempranillo.
Yeah, we've dabbled with Tempranillo. The hollow area of our vineyard is a bit of a frost pocket, but it's excessively hot. And it's basically a gravel pit. It's a hellish area. Okay. And so Larry toiled and debated back and forth about what he was going to plant there for years. And he finally came up with the idea from Sal D'Angelo, actually.
Okay, well, that's who's doing Tempranillo as well. He's up on Naramata.
He is.
Yeah, not far from
So Sal graciously gave him some cuttings, and we started it off. And the first harvest was in 08.
Okay, yeah, excellent. Well, and Sal's Tempranillo is one that I've really enjoyed from the Okanagan. It's been an excellent value, very interesting wine.
It's definitely an interesting variety.
It tastes like BC Tempranillo, though. It's not like a Rioja or anything like that. It's like a...
It can.
It can.
It can.
It's got a few of those interesting notes.
You need to... again, it's a wine that is definitely made in the vineyard. It requires a lot of nurturing.
Okay.
And to do it in a large scale production, I think would be very challenging, but in small lots, it's an exciting wine.
Oh, that's really, I'd like to taste some of that. Now, for your 15-year anniversary, you guys came out with a couple select wines that you've had, it's kind of been your pet projects. Tell us about those.
We launched a label called Cachet.
Yep.
So it's a wine series that's a limited production, one-offs, basically.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a sequential release. We've done Cachet 1
Yep.
and Cachet 2. Cachet 1 was built around the Tempranillo that we harvested in 2000.
Okay.
So our first harvest of Tempranillo.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a really exciting, fun wine that we expanded into Cachet 2 right away, which was based around an experimental planting of Grenache.
Okay, excellent.
So they've been fun wines that have been getting a lot of attention. I'm going to call them almost door openers.
Door openers? Oh, that's cool.
Totally. So it's people that weren't really paying attention to Stag's Hollow all that much until they tasted something totally off the map.
Something very unique, something outside of what BC typically does.
Totally.
That's cool. All right, so before I taste your wines, one more thing I always hear with Stag's Hollow, your Sauvignon Blanc. Everybody talks about your Sauvignon Blanc. It's kind of a rock star of your winery.
It's definitely the foundation of the winery, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think we're probably one of the pioneers. I'm not going to say we were the first to have Sauv Blanc in the valley, but we are definitely one of the pioneers with the white varietal in the valley. And stylistically, we've made a style and a name for ourselves with that wine.
That's really cool. Yeah, because everybody else around there is typically planting Pinot Gris, things like that, which does very well in the area of Pinot Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc is super neat, and it's worked well for you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so first one we're tasting, what do you got here? Your Rosé.
Rosé.
Tell us about that.
Rosé for me is a very serious wine.
Yeah.
It's not white zin.
Yeah.
And many wineries make rosé just because it's kind of in style.
In style,
and it may not necessarily be made in a true rosé fashion.
Okay.
It's usually a byproduct of a red wine fermentation.
Ah, okay.
They're taking bleed juices off. Whereas a traditional rosé, as you're well aware, is grown from the ground up to create that wine.
It's intentional. Yeah.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
So our alcohol levels are kept in check. The balance points are all there. And the purity and integrity of the wine is there if it's made as a true rosé.
Okay.
And that's the foundation of this wine.
Yeah,
we intentionally grow Syrah for making rosé.
Okay. Well, it's got those really neat... I'm walking through a strawberry patch right now. I'm tasting a little bit of, or noticing a bit of a kind of a savoriness to it as well.
That's Syrah for you, in a nutshell, really.
Absolutely.
I mean, it has a savory note,
that white
without
pepper
a doubt.
that often comes through. And
it translates right into the palate.
It's a nice dry rosé, and that's a stylistic. Again, like you're saying with the Okanagan, often rosés that are made with quite a bit of residual sugar. They're a fun wine. They sell fairly easily, but this is a food wine. This is how rosé should be intentionally made. In my opinion.
I agree. My opinion as well.
Yeah, it's savory. It's got a beautiful acidity to it. Nice tartness. Kind of that strawberry, almost light. Underripe raspberry going on.
There's a tension in the wine.
Yeah, exactly.
And that needs to be there.
So,
But there's enough weight to the wine as well. Again, that's broad.
Yeah.
And the touch of assemblage blending with a little bit of Viognier and Muscat just provides a bit of call it a winemaker's thumbprint to the wine.
Yeah, you could almost say it's got a hint of I don't want to say green onion, but I want to say like chive to it, like a light chive or something. It's kind of got that.
There is a herbaceous note.
A herbaceous note to it. Yeah, it's really interesting. This is screaming blue cheese at me or something.
Really?
Like that. Yeah. Need some right now. Lunch is past already. So.
I know. I'm actually a little peckish.
A little peckish. I know the feeling, but I don't have anything here. All right. So what do you got next for us?
Syrah. So same vineyard source.
Yeah.
2009. Very interesting vintage.
And this is the 2010.
That's fresh.
Yeah. Fresh. Well, it tastes very fresh too. Thanks. Awesome. So the 09 Syrah.
The 09 Syrah, incredibly hot fall to finish up the 09 season. We had 28 days over 20 degrees in September. That translated into a very ripe profile of fruit that we pulled off to the point of we actually had a block of Syrah that had really great lignification in the vineyard.
Okay. Now lignification, what does that mean?
The stems actually ripen.
Okay, now that's something in the Okanagan that is fewer and further between. Yeah, they often when you're picking, they're green. The clusters have green stems through and through. Yeah.
So these have actually ripened to the point of they have a nutty brown characteristic.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we did a percentage of our ferment as whole cluster.
Wow.
So that just provides a whole new level of tannin structure into
Yeah.
the wine, because we're no longer just dealing with skins, seeds,
Yeah.
and oak.
Yeah.
We've got a stem
It's a
tannin
whole
in
other
there
character
too.
trait to the...
So that made it really fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
And as per usual, I always co-ferment with a little bit of Viognier. So we've got 8% Viognier in here.
8%? Yeah.
8%.
Yeah, it gives it a little bit of that violet going on.
It does, and it gives it a bit of a feminine characteristic on the nose that I really appreciate with Syrah.
No, I can definitely see that.
And it's got, again, that yin and yang thing going on, because it's quite masculine and well built as far as structure.
Very much so. Very structured wine. It's got that kind of a neat tea bag meets really earthy dark chocolate structured tannin on it. Again, got that savory Syrah. You can taste the floral notes for sure. You definitely taste the floral notes. It's got that neat kind of like smoked meat going on.
It does,
typical
definitely.
Syrah thing.
Yeah, that's a clonal thing with Syrah. We have a really great vineyard site that we've got 3 choice of clones.
Yeah.
So that comes into the blending equation as well.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Some good like farmer sausage in there. So
Yeah, great.
Nice
Great
wine.
grilled sausage.
Exactly.
That's all I can think about whenever I
They work
taste
well.
it.
Man, we both must be packaged right now.
Yeah, we are.
Excellent, excellent. So it's too bad Larry couldn't have joined us. So tell us a little bit the ownership of Stag's Hollow.
Larry and Linda bought the vineyard site.
Yep.
And the
92,
property
right?
in 92.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were originally from Calgary.
Okay.
So it was a bit of a transition between careers, as mine was as well, moving into the industry. And it's pretty common, actually, occurrence here in the valley.
For sure, for sure.
And since then, they have worked hand and foot in that vineyard, building it into what it is today.
Yeah.
And they're still active in that role.
Seems like
they're not a distant owner. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
They're day to
Well,
day.
that's
Their hands are as dirty as mine.
Yeah, it
and
seems like
that really makes a great combination to work with, because they're always there to assist you and make sure things are going right for you.
Yeah, definitely a commonality in the BC wine world. You find people who have been fairly successful in life and they want to do something cool because they're already super passionate about wine, move to the valley, and then they all of a sudden realize, wow, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
They get in, but they produce some fabulous projects because they have the resources to do so.
Yeah.
And it works really well, just like you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So make sure that when you're at the local liquor store, look for Stag's Hollow. You won't be disappointed. They're making some excellent wines. Dwight's got his feet in there making some good wine.
Thanks, man.
Doing a good job. So I appreciate you very much coming by the garage
Hey,
today.
it's my pleasure.
Good to have you. Thanks for sharing some of your projects with us.
I really, really enjoyed being here.
Yeah, it's good. Good. Cool. So everybody out there, thank you so much for watching today. I'll have a link below the video for Stag's Hollow. You can click on their website. You can order wine on their website as well, can't you?
Definitely can.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's another great way for you guys to get in there. So everybody out there, thanks again for watching. Remember, wine, depretentious-sized. We'll see you on the next episode.